Aha. Okay. So welcome everybody again. In case you didn't hear before, I am Monica with Anywhere But Here Travel, and I welcome everybody to our Spanish cooking class today. I am super excited to see all these people joining us from all over the United States. I haven't heard anybody from Canada or Germany or something like that yet. So if you do want to keep putting in the chat where you are from, we would love to hear where you're tuning in from to our cooking class. And I think most people are muted, which is awesome. Once we get cooking, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself, ask questions, and participate in the cooking. We love having the interaction. So I just want to start out to begin with and introduce ourselves and our team members. So if you don't know who Anywhere But Here Travel is, we are a travel agency in Linwood, Washington. It's probably like about maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes north of Seattle, because I know there's a lot of people here who are not local to us. And we are a small team of agents here who can really help you out with your next travel vacation plans, whatever it happens to be. We just love sharing the love of travel with you. We've done these kind of sort of events before the pandemic. We were inviting people to our agency, and we would host an evening about, let's say, Viking river cruises. And so we would invite people into our agency, serve you a couple little nibbles, a little wine, a little bubbly water, and we'd talk about Viking river cruises. We had, a little bit of a challenge since the pandemic, and so we decided to go online and do some virtual events. We are the ones that we've been hosting, like with our own agency that's been kind of exclusive to us. We've done a polar expeditions presentation. We've done one with Mayflower, which does a bunch of guided vacations. First of all, we kind of focused on North America within New England area. There's the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. So I will definitely share some of those presentations. We've all had those recorded. And we'll share those presentations with you after this class. But like I was saying before, our most popular event has by far been our cooking classes. So this is the third one we've done, and they just keep getting bigger. We had over 50 people register, and we have a big group of people here tuning in. So I am really happy about that. I'm going to just switch my speaker view here so I can see a little bit more. And I just invite you guys to join us for our next two cooking classes, which are there's one next week on next Saturday. There's that's for French cooking class, and then we have a Portugal one in 2 weeks from now. So again, I'll be inviting you to all those great things coming up. But I would like to just quickly introduce my team here. And I think if you guys just say your name and quickly, like maybe what you do for Anywhere But Here Travel, or what you specialize in, because when you talk, then you will show up on the screen. So I think it's better if you guys say something. So Tia, I want you to go first, please.
Hi, I'm Tia. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for joining us. I am the cruise specialist for Anywhere But Here Travel. I also do a lot of the Caribbean travel, and I also happen to be the Portugal, which kind of leads into Spain specialist as well. So this is a very exciting class for me, as well as not the next one, but the one after.
Great. Thank you, Tia. And Kara, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Kara. I'm new here with Anywhere But Here Travel, so I'm kind of still learning. But right now, I do more like people coming to Seattle area, So yeah, I just am here to learn more.
No problem. And I know Andrea. Andrea, are you around? Do you want to introduce yourself?
She's muted right now, so there you go.
Oh, sure, why not? I am Andrea King. Some people try and call me the boss, but really I'm just the CEO and of Anywhere But Here Travel. And I love to eat food that people cook for me, but I also would like to know how to cook better and more from all of these wonderful places I've been able to visit. Um, just want to keep on cooking so I can have that cultural experience in my kitchen as much as I possibly can. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I appreciate all of you being up, you know, having lunch later than usual, earlier than usual, whatever the case may be. Just glad you're here, but I know you're going to love it at the same time. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm happy that you made it and that you got the information, because this is going to be a real joy for us.
Yep. Thank you, Andrea. And just FYI, she's just not going to have her face on camera because she's feeling under the weather today. So we'll just, I appreciate her tuning in and joining us, at least just non-video participation. And so anyways, I'm Monica again. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say,
Okay.
you're a supermodel.
You're a
Imagine that,
supermodel.
and you're,
Yeah. Normally, sometimes when we turn off the camera, there's another picture that shows up, and so you know you'll just have to imagine her being supermodel with long flowing hair and everything like that. So, anyways, I'm Monica, and I kind of run the show, I guess. I don't know. I put together these events and make sure everything kind of comes together. And my travel specialties are Hawaii, Japan, Tahiti, and Europe, actually. So Andrea is more the Italy, and I think Spain would probably be in her wheelhouse as well. But I kind of do other things as well. So I just want to turn it over now to our chef Aldo, who is one of our amazing travel partners, who has graciously offered to help host these cooking classes with us. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Aldo, to take the show away.
Hola todos, buenos dias. Are you gonna make me a presenter?
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that. Click on this. What do I do? Spotlight for everyone. I think that's it. Is that it? Okay, everybody can see Aldo? Okay,
hello,
I'm gonna mute
everybody.
myself.
So today it's a very classic dish, very simple and easy dish of the Spanish cuisine. This tortilla, so it's very simple ingredients. It's potatoes, eggs, and you can add some other ingredients, and this is what we're going to do today, which is the ham and cheese. But it's a very classic, and it's also a very nice dish because you can eat it, keep it in the fridge for a long time, and you can eat it later. So it's just something nice, and it's a very typical dish that you'll see in every tapas everywhere in Spain. So it's a classic. So for this dish, what we're gonna have the potatoes. I kept them here on the cold water. So the 1/3 brown. You have the eggs. The cheese that I'm gonna use, it's the raclette cheese. This one, it's it melts very well. It's a Switzerland. It's also very tasty. I mean, there's definitely a lot of taste and flavor in this cheese. So this is one that I like. But you can use any kind. You can use mozzarella. You can use Gruyere. I mean, whatever you have will be fine. The more it melts, the better. The eggs, salt and pepper, and after we'll have the oil. So the first step that we're going to do, it's pretty easy. I'm going to slice the potatoes. Now you can do this by hand. Okay. So you take the potatoes. I'm gonna just dry it. And so you can do this by hand, very thin, or you can take the shortcut. And I'm gonna take the shortcut. I'm gonna take the shortcut because we have this, no, we're not using it. So it's very easy. Okay, I have mine, and I have mine, set up so it will be very thin. Okay, you want it very thin because the thinner it is, the faster it's gonna cook. Okay, because the potato takes a lot of time to cook. So you want it very thin. And so this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, it's very easy. And I'm gonna do all my potatoes. So for the people who are cooking with me, you just basically do this. And you gotta be careful not to cut your fingers right at the end. So that's why I use.
Hey Aldo, so for anybody who doesn't have one of those slicer mandolin things, you can just slice them by hand. Or what
Yeah,
I did,
basically like
I just chopped mine up. I don't know if that was okay, but I was trying to
Oh,
prep
that's
ahead of
fine.
time.
No, that's fine. I mean, you can again, you can basically do it. You do it by hand. It's just you're just gonna take more time.
Mhm.
You can just slice this like this by hand. I mean, if you're pretty fast and familiar with cutting things, I mean, it's not a huge job. Otherwise, you just use a slicer and you'll be fine. The thing is exactly like you're saying. The only thing here, remember, try to cut it very thin. Okay,
Okay.
so when we're gonna cook it, then it's gonna cook quite fast. So
And just FYI, if people want to put in the chat any of their questions, if they don't want to, unmute and interrupt, that's totally fine. I think Tia and Kara are keeping an eye on the chat for us. And but you can always unmute and ask your own questions too. So, right, Aldo?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But these are the kind of recipe that we like to do in our cooking classes, the one that you will remember easily, the one that are very authentic. We're gonna always do a little variation, of course, to make it a little more fun, or so that you can adapt and adjust it, and also easy to make, easy to replicate. So that's the point of these cooking classes. Do something very simple and easy. So I basically keep going to do this with this potato, and I think after this one, I'll probably, for me, have enough.
And you said how many potatoes, or I don't remember.
It really depends on how many people are going to eat it. Usually, you will do a minimum of 3 potatoes. That's for sure. Okay, and you can keep going.
Okay.
So, I mean, this will be, definitely for me enough. Okay, because these are a little large and I don't want it to be too large, I'm gonna start just cooking them into smaller, like in half. Okay.
Aldo, we've got a question.
Yes.
Let's see. Christine wants to know the history of the name tortilla in Spain.
Tortilla is come from torta, so like cake in a way. So that's the name tortilla. So that would be like a potato cake, we can say.
Okay. And so like in Mexico, when you say tortilla, you get like the flat part tortilla.
I know.
So that's like a flat cake.
Yeah, it's a little different. I guess it's a little different. I don't think even that the Spanish between the two countries is also a little different. I mean, the Spanish in Spain, it can be a little different than the Spanish in the South America. So that's why. So yeah, it's not the tortilla, the one that we are probably used to from the Mexican cuisine. Okay, so this is good for me. I have definitely a lot of potatoes here. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to show you up here. We're going to just put some, oil into my pan, and you can put, quite a bit of oil. Okay. And I'm gonna turn the heat on. So you want to put enough oil so the potatoes are gonna be almost covered. That's what you want to do. We're gonna let this, heat a little bit. You can also cook, cut the potatoes in like, as the point is they need to be thin or they need to be small pieces, because if you have big pieces, it's gonna take too much time. So if you don't have a slicer, but you wanna cut it in like little strings, that's fine as well, or tiny little pieces, cubes, that's fine as well, as long as they're small, so they're gonna cook, pretty fast. Otherwise, it's gonna take just way too much time. So this is basically something important to remember.
And Aldo, I bought like small red potatoes, so I didn't peel them.
Yeah.
I don't mind the peel sometimes, but I noticed you peeled your potatoes.
Yeah. So the kind of potatoes, it doesn't really make a huge difference. The brown, classic potato is fine, but whatever you have,
right,
will work as well.
Okay.
So while this one is getting a little hotter, we're going to crack our eggs. Okay, 6 eggs here. That's again easy to do. There you go. Yeah.
So Aldo, tell everybody where you're from.
Oh, I'm from Venice, Italy. And I'm lucky enough that I also grew up in Paris, France. So I'm very blessed because I'm fluent in 3 languages.
That's amazing.
Hopefully my English is good enough. But yeah, so, and I was in Italy in February, and before this whole mess started. I kind of miss going there, but anyway, that's what it is.
Must be tough.
We're gonna get there soon.
Yeah, that's why we're having these cooking classes.
I know.
So we can still dream and have some hope and inspiration out there.
Yeah. So we have our eggs. We're just gonna mix them like this, very easily.
Okay.
You can see, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. You did 6 eggs, yeah? Okay.
Sorry?
6 eggs, right?
Yeah, 6 eggs. Now we can, we're gonna do a little bit of salt, okay? And here, even it depends again on your taste. I usually do like a pinch, something like this. Okay?
Okay.
But I mean, again, it's up to you. And here we can add, the traditional recipe really calls only for the salt. It doesn't really supposed to add any other spices. However, I always like to adapt every recipe to my personal taste. I mean, I don't see why not. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of pepper in this one. And if you like, you can add other spices. I mean, you can add like oregano or Provence herbs. I mean, you can just whatever you think, whatever you like. I will go with a simple salt and pepper. But again, the original recipe, if you want to stick to it, it will just call for salt, and that's it.
Sounds good.
We're gonna go back to our oil. Oil is getting pretty hot, so I'm gonna, start adding all our potatoes slowly because you don't want, of course, burn yourself with the oil. There you go. And that's it. So they're basically almost covered, almost all under the oil. And we're just going to keep them here for a few minutes, so they're going to start cooking and get more tender. Again,
I feel like I need some more potatoes.
Yeah, it's really up to you. I mean, you can have, in the size of the pan, I mean, it can be big or can be small. If it's smaller, maybe you have too much potato, you're going to end up with a thicker tortilla. If it's larger, you're going to end up with a thinner one. And it definitely depends how many people you're going to feed. We don't want to put the oil temperature too high because we're not burning anything, we're just cooking. So always with the oil, you keep it to medium. You don't keep it to very high. Otherwise you start cooking or burning, and it's difficult to control. So with oil, medium is perfect.
Right, okay.
And basically the only thing that we need to do right now is just to wait a little bit. Here, as you can see, I have coriander, and what I'm going to do is once the potatoes are cooked, I'm going to just drain everything in here because we're going to separate the oil from the potatoes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Are you with me, Monica?
I am. I just added a couple more potatoes to my pan. So I have a big pan. I picked my largest pan, so I figured I'll fill it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us, have you been to Spain before?
Yeah, I've been. I mean, pretty lucky. I did all the major cities. And this recipe here that we're going to do, we're going to add, again, the 2 extra ingredients that are not really on the original recipe, which is the cheese and the ham. And I learned that from a chef in Valencia. And he wanted to make something, a little variation when I did that cooking class. And I thought that was pretty cool. So you can actually add whatever you think your guest or you would like, inside. And so it's going to be almost kind of like a sandwich tortilla.
Cool.
I'm going to take my ham here. I'm going to open this one, the raclette. I don't know if you ever, did the raclette.
What kind of ham did you get?
Sorry?
Is that the ham or the cheese?
No,
Sorry.
This is the cheese. The raclette cheese. It is used for a fun dinner that you can do. It's like a Swiss dinner where you have little pallets that you basically put into almost of a grill, and the cheese melts, and you put the melted cheese over potatoes. That's a Swiss thing to do. So this one I like it.
Sounds delicious.
Definitely very tasty cheese for sure. You can definitely smell it. I kind of like stinky cheese in general, so this one is good.
I just took whatever cheese I had in my refrigerator today.
Yeah,
so
that works.
It's already shredded and everything.
That's perfect. That's what you want to do, right? I mean, whatever you have at the end, you want to follow the recipe as a mother road, but you can take variations, and that's the beauty of cooking. You know, there's at the end is whatever you like. So that's.
I just found some parsley in my refrigerator, so I'm chopping that up right now too.
Yes, absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
My potatoes are sizzling. Is that good?
Yes.
They're not browning or anything.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Right now, we want to cook
Okay.
them. We don't want to, you know, fry them or anything. We just want to cook them. So slowly,
Okay,
I'm
good.
also breaking them down just to make them a little smaller as well. So by doing that, they're just gonna just cook a little faster. That's what I do.
Great. How's everybody else doing? Do we have any other comments or questions, Tia?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. We don't have a lot of questions right now. We are discussing raclette, though. Christine has she has the heated stone set, which she bought on Crate and Barrel several years ago. I haven't tried it yet, so I was telling her that I was excited to get to try it. Eileen wants to know, is it okay to use the raclette on cast iron?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see why not. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, raclette is fun. It's definitely a fun thing to do. So the good thing about this tortilla here, it's a tapas. So you can cook it in advance if you have guests, and you can serve it cold, because that's how most likely also you're gonna get it when you go to Spain in those tapas bar and you eat the little, you know, different things, and you know, it can be definitely cold. So you can store it in the fridge. You can cook it maybe in the morning, and you're ready for, you know, or party, dinner, lunch, or whatever. So that's the beauty of this recipe. And it was stored in the fridge. I even froze it once, and it was fine. I mean, it wasn't really the best, but I mean, if you really have to, you can. But in my opinion, it's so good that it will go fast.
Well, Una says that raclette, cheese fondue, and beef fondue sets are traditionally given as wedding gifts in Switzerland, and that she bought a beef and cheese set when she trained in Switzerland.
Yeah. So raclette and fondue, they're two different things, though.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely.
You can use the raclette cheese in a fondue, yes?
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. Yeah, you can do that. There are different kinds. I think different regions or different places, they use different cheese, or they use a mix of cheeses.
Okay.
As well. So, but yeah, raclette is definitely one. Raclette is a nice, I mean, when you melt it and you put it over like a piece of bread, it's just very good.
Well, it's definitely on my list to try.
Yeah, you have to.
I've never tried it, so now I'm gonna put it on a list to buy it at the store next time.
It says classically, I can't even pronounce that, Emmentaler and Gruyere cheeses,
Yes. Yes.
with Kirsch and white wine for cheese fondue, which reminds me, what wine are we having with lunch today?
I didn't pour wine for myself, honestly.
You didn't pour wine for yourself.
No,
Is it
I
too
forgot
early?
it.
No, it's in the middle of the afternoon for you.
I forgot it, but I have choices here on my side.
You do.
Here, I don't know. I have a lot of choices, so I'm gonna pick one.
Okay.
I'm having iced tea with mine.
We are very
So my-
impressed with your wine rack.
My potatoes are basically done. Some are a little brown, and that's okay, but they're very soft. I think I can break them very easily. Keep in mind that when you take them off, they're still going to be, you know, cooking, because the temperature is still very high, and so you can taste them too. I mean, you can try.
Yeah, mine are almost there.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't take much
Yeah.
time as long as you keep them thin and small. Okay.
Yeah.
And And so very
I'm gonna
easy.
have to try slicing them like you did, Aldo, next time.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to slowly. This is again one of my favorite tools. I use it. This is like an Asian, thing, but I use it all the time.
I bought one because of one of our last cooking classes that we did with you.
Yeah.
I went out and bought one.
Yeah, if people,
They were like $5, $10. It wasn't that much at all, even from Amazon.
yeah, you call it a spider.
And it's the one that I use the most. So I'm just gonna take basically the potatoes and I'm gonna put them in here and the oil.
Oh, you're just draining off the oil? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna give my potatoes just a minute longer. I think they're almost ready.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, how's everybody else doing? Hopefully you're all at the same point.
So they're very fork tender, but not falling apart.
Okay. You take your time.
Good to hear from Eileen.
Is that what you would describe them for people who want to know? You would say they're fork tender, but not falling apart.
Yeah. I would say keep in mind that they're still cooking, they're over there, but this is, if I touch it, I'm going to burn myself. It's still very hot. So they're still cooking. And
So you don't want to overcook or they would just be
it's
mush.
just fine. I'm just saying that even if they're not perfectly done in the oil, you know that when you take them off, they're still going to start cooking. So, don't be afraid. It's like when we did the pasta, cooking class, you always take the pasta a little bit before than al dente, because the pasta is going to still cooking as soon as you take it off the water. So here we go. I'm going to turn the heat off. And here I have, it's just, there you go.
Yep, they're very hot.
I know, they're very hot. They're still cooking.
Careful. All right.
Another thing that you can do also on this recipe, if you want, is to add the onions. Actually, I made a very big mistake. We have to cook the onions on the original recipe. And this is the next step, because we're going to cook it in this same oil over here. So while this is draining, I'm going to put it here on the side. Okay. I have the onion.
So that's why you just took that's why you took the potatoes out with a strainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I saved my oil. I put it back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had it in my head and I didn't say it. And so,
That's okay. We're here to, make it all work.
Yeah, it's gonna work.
I'll just add a little bit more oil because I think I lost some oil when I strained it.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So here again, thin, okay? I'm using the the red onions. You can use definitely the white, the yellow, I mean, whatever you like. In general, I like the red, so that's what I'm using. But whatever onions you have, probably in Spain, I think when I did this recipe in a cooking class in Spain, when I learned that, the chef was using the white one, but you know, I like the red, so that's what I'm using. And also for the onions, if you want, you can use the magic slicing machine that I have, which I love. I know all the professional chefs, like to show off and how they cut stuff very fast. But I do too, I just with much less effort.
This is how the home cooks do it, so I like it.
Yes, I mean, we have the tools. I don't see why we should not use them. Okay, so these are, and I'm gonna leave them like this. I'm not gonna cook it they're gonna be thin, but I still want, strings like this. I'm not gonna do little cubes, okay?
Mm.
Oh. Here you go.
You put it in the oil?
And put them in the oil.
I think I kind of have a lot of onion. Oh, well.
That's good. That's good. One other reason why we want to separate these two steps is because we're gonna add the eggs into the potatoes, but we don't want the potatoes to be too hot, otherwise it's gonna start cooking the eggs immediately, right? Because we're gonna cook that into the pan. So at the same time, the oil is draining and the potatoes is getting cooler. So that's the reason why also we're doing this thing. So try to.
And still the temperature should be kind of medium low or medium.
Yeah, always medium when you use the oil. You don't want to burn things.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm trying to separate here. See the potatoes, put them on the side so they will cool off a little faster. That's what I'm doing right now.
Ah.
So is there a reason that you can't cook the onions in the potatoes?
Sorry?
Hold on, can you mute? Oh, okay. Is there a reason that you can't cook the onions and the potatoes at the same time?
Yeah, I think they have cooking times that are different.
Okay.
So that's the reason why. And also the main reason is because you want the potatoes to cool off.
Right, but you don't necessarily need the onions too.
Yeah, you separate the two.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah. So here, just gonna cook this.
Oh, I need a lot more oil.
I'm cleaning up my working station, so you know exactly what I'm doing.
You must go through a lot of oil, Aldo.
I go through a ton of oil, mostly olive oil.
Right.
Yeah, mostly extra virgin olive oil, but
I know we put your favorite oil in the ingredient list, but if you want to share what it is with everybody here, that's fine too. Because I know your favorite one is a particular brand.
well, I actually couldn't find that brand last time, so this today, yeah, it was gone. So I have this other one, Italian. However, Monini, I actually met the son of the owner because he was living in Chicago. And, very reputable brand, and they usually to make only olive oil from Italy, but because there is a shortage in the recent years of olive oil in Italy, and the production has dropped dramatically. This one actually that I have, it's marked that it's from Portugal.
Oh,
it's not really Italian. However, the company is very reputable, so I'm pretty confident that they picked a pretty good source of, of olives in order to produce it. Otherwise, yeah, the other one is called the Partanna. It's a Sicilian one. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, but it was gone. So, and I needed, and so I didn't have time to go to another store, and so I picked the Monini.
Andrea got us, I think, olive oil from Italy, which is awesome. And then I also have one from Costco, which is like, I think, a blend of olive oils. It says product of Italy, but I don't know. This is a different one. Oh, that one.
Yeah, it's the small production of actually from Italy, and I just use it a little bit because it has to last the whole year. So I don't know if you have a garden, but if you do have a garden, don't buy any fertilizer. Use all your scrap food. And this is the best fertilizer and compost that you can create. So this is what I put into my garden all winter long. And so when the season comes, I have a very good soil.
Yeah, my daughter inspired me to start a compost this year, so.
Yeah, I've been composting for many years, and it's just awesome. So my onions are done. So I'm gonna take them off.
How do you know when they're done?
Well, they're very soft. They're getting translucent. I mean, they're basically soft. And again, they're gonna keep cooking. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna be fine. I want them to cool off a little bit, so I'm not gonna add them into the potatoes. I don't want to raise the temperature of the potatoes because now one of our goals is to cool everything off. Because when we're gonna add the eggs, we don't want those eggs to start cooking. So.
Do we need to save the olive oil in the pan again?
No, this one is basically just a little bit because we're gonna cook the
eggs, maybe?
The potatoes and the eggs, they're all mixed together, but no, not this quantity. You're just gonna leave a little bit so it won't stick. But
okay.
If you have a non-stick pan, you don't really need it to have it. There's already enough oil here. You just basically throw it away and there's already enough oil in the pan. So this is what I'm gonna slowly do. Okay, my sink is on the side. So you have to give me a few seconds and I'll be right back.
Okay, you're just gonna get rid of your oil in your pan. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And try not to kill anything or burn myself.
Be careful, yeah. My onions need a little bit more time again. I have a lot of onions in here, so.
But you don't put the oil down the drain. You put it in another source that you can toss it out with because the oil will clog up your drain if you do that.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I got a little behind in our messages here. So Una says, yes, you do need to read the labels on the bottles of olive oil because you assume they're from Italy with an Italian name, but the label will say the country that the oil came from. And she also, Eileen says she saves her vegetable scraps in a freezer bag to make vegetable broth in her pressure cooker and then freezes it.
Oh, that's a great idea too.
I didn't hear about the pressure cooker. Say it again.
So Eileen, what she does is she saves her vegetable scraps in a freezer bag and then she makes vegetable broth in her pressure cooker and then she freezes it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Very good. So we have everything. We have everything ready. The next step would be we're going to assemble everything, right? So I'm gonna let this cool off a little bit. I'm gonna take the potatoes and I'm going to put them in here, in this big bowl that I will use to mix potatoes, eggs, and onions. There you go. They're still hot, but not too much, so it's fine. I'm just gonna go a little slower so Monica, you can be at par with me.
One reason
Yeah,
these
gonna take off my onions
the
now.
potatoes and onions need to cool, or when you put your eggs in, they start to cook too quickly.
Yeah, they're gonna start to cook the eggs like too quickly, so that's why you want them to cool off. Because the egg is gonna cook in the pan in a little bit. It's like in Italian, a frittata, or that's how we would call it. So I'm gonna add the onions.
I just took my onions off and they're draining right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Cooling, draining.
We are on the same page.
Oh, I'm gonna put. My onions are really hot.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's still, the egg still needs, you know, a good temperature in order to cook. So as long as they're not really, nothing is super hot, they will be fine.
And spread them out a little
Okay.
bit, Monica. Just they'll cool faster
Yeah.
if you spread them out.
Yeah, it'll cool faster.
I need to get a bigger container.
Well, this is a classic. Once you know how to make this, which is pretty easy, as you can see. I mean, you can say that you know a classic of the Spanish cuisine. So the original recipe would basically we're going to add the eggs, and we will cook everything at once, okay, on both sides. The variations that we're going to do is that once we put the eggs in here, we're going to basically split this in half, and we're going to create a base on our pan, and on top we're going to put the cheese and the ham, and after with the other half we're just going to create another layer on top. So we're going to have some kind of a sandwich. Okay.
Oh.
That's the variation that we're going to do. You want to stick with the original, you don't do any of this, and you will just have the potatoes and the onions and the egg. So here I have, you know, some ham, off the bone ham, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. I'm gonna mix everything. Oh, I'm making a mess here apparently. Oil everywhere.
I'm going to turn off the heat again under here, and it's going to be medium low, okay?
Okay.
Right now, this is still hot, so I don't want things really to burn. I want always to control the temperature, because you can always put the temperature up if things are not cooked, but it's pretty difficult to reverse when something is cooked. That's it. That's the reason why I don't really like very high temperature, because it's always, I can make mistakes and I can fix them up. So here I'm just gonna add the eggs.
Okay, so the potato and onion mixture, you add the eggs. Okay.
And I want to get everything, so I'm going to use this spatula. There you go. So here I'm just mixing. So the egg is not really cooking. And that's what we want. There you go. I'm just gonna be a little bit ahead of you, Monica, so, or whoever is cooking with
Yep.
me, so you can see what's next, right?
Yep. I'm just put all my eggs in the mixture.
Yeah, and that's it. So this is
I'm mixing it up. Okay.
the only really trick step, I would say. I mean, is this. So we're gonna put a little bit here. On the bottom,
So you're doing like about half of the mixture?
about a half, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is kind of. Okay. There you go. Now I'm gonna put my nice cheese, my stinky raclette, like such. I'm gonna put the ham. I'll keep it in like a big slice like this, 1 and 2. And again, you can put, I mean, you wanna put more, just put more.
We're using roasted vegetables over here instead of the ham.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely fine. So here I have it. And on top, I'm gonna put this.
Okay. Interesting. You're making like an omelet sandwich or something.
Exactly.
Egg sandwich. Okay. My ham is all cubed.
Yeah. So and
I
there you
didn't
go.
get sliced ham.
I covered it. Now that it's covered, the spatula.
So you covered it with the other half of the potato and egg mixture.
And so the tricky
Okay.
part, now I'm gonna just turn it a little bit higher temperature because I want the bottom to start cooking. Like when you do an omelet. So a little higher now. Now this is the only time where you're going to bring it up.
Okay. I'm putting the other
Almost
half
you
of my
wanna-
mixture on top.
You want to have that little brown crust at the bottom. Hopefully, that's what we're going to have. While this is cooking, we're going to take a plate. Because the plate is what we're going to use to flip this over.
Oh,
Because we have to cook it on both sides. So, see?
I should have used a smaller pan. I don't have a big enough plate for this, maybe.
Just for anyone who's interested, if you check in the chat section, Eileen Paul is a Pampered Chef consultant, and she has put a list on there for where you can purchase some of the tools that Aldo is
Beautiful.
recommending. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm using all my Pampered Chef stuff today. That's for sure.
I made you the hostess, Monica, so you'll get all the rewards.
Oh! Hey, that was a surprise. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Anybody who shops, Monica will get some rewards.
That's what we're supposed to do with the milk. Aldo?
Oh, the milk.
The milk?
Yeah, Beth wants to know what we're supposed to do with the milk.
Did I put milk on the recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to apologize. I think that was a mistake.
We could drink the milk.
You can drink
Everybody
it.
take a shot of
Pour
milk.
it back.
Good.
You can drink it. No, so you can actually, I think I know why I put the milk, but it's not really on the original recipe. But if you don't have enough eggs and you want to dilute, that's where you're gonna add the milk, okay, into the
That makes
into the
sense.
eggs.
Okay.
Into the eggs.
Yeah, but the original recipe doesn't really call it. So here, that's the tricky part, and I'm scared to do it because sometimes I just screw it up and I make a mess.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We're going to see if you do it right.
Well, if you screw it up, then we'll all feel better because we're all going to anyway.
I forgot I need to turn mine up, my temperature up. Oopsies. I'm going to be really behind now. Let's see if you can do it.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yay, beautiful.
How about that?
Nice.
That is gorgeous. And then he just,
There you go. Yes.
Oh boy. I don't know if I have that kind of skill.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
I made a mess so many times. Like everybody has a pass on this one. Everybody has a pass.
Oh man, I got to get a plate out.
And after this is the end.
Okay.
We're just gonna cook it a little bit on this side, have a nice crust on that side, and after we're just gonna put it into a plate, and I'm gonna get the plate.
Oh man, I got to get down to my biggest plate I can find.
I'm gonna use this one. It's like a cake,
Oh, that's not big enough.
one,
Oh, that's pretty.
yeah. And that's it.
All my big plates are up high where I can't reach them. I'll just have
So
to make
is
it
easy. I mean,
a
it is
mess.
easy, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's not really complicated.
No,
So
once you
I
get
think
the,
I'm fine. Just gonna put for a few seconds very high to create a little cross underneath. And after I'm gonna put it on my plate.
okay.
And
I'm
after
kind
we're
of
gonna
scared to
cut
flip
it,
mine.
We're gonna cut it and hopefully we're gonna have like picture magazine perfect gluey cheese coming off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot my cheese. Dang it. I think I'm gonna be a little not picture perfect or anything here.
all right, Monica, Taylor did it. You can do it.
Yeah?
Yep.
I'm sure it's gonna be
Oh.
fine.
Okay, well, what the heck how do I do this?
How's
My plate
Taylor
is
doing?
too small.
Put your hand on it and then just flip.
Okay, so. There you
Okay,
go.
let me try this.
How about that? Right? Pretty cool. It is perfect. Can't get any perfect than this.
Come on.
Una says try a pizza pan to flip it, and Eileen suggests maybe a cutting board, Monica.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Anything that you have even bigger than the pan that you're using, you
came
actually
out.
very, very easy. Oh,
Well, oh,
and then
I almost got it.
to cut this,
I lost my cooking utensil somewhere. I'm gonna have to get a new one. That's so funny. I don't know what happened to it. Another Pampered Chef tool to the rescue.
That is beautiful.
Oh, wow. That looks great, Aldo.
there you go.
Well, my flip almost made it all the way over. So, wow. Does anybody else have their finished dish to show off? I would love to, if you could take a photo or if you could show, it's kind of hard to show it to the camera because unless you're talking, it won't show up for me. And I'd have to take Aldo off the presenter too. But
So this is,
anybody can take pictures.
This is a tortilla. Again, if you want to stick to the original recipe, you just put only the salt. You just mix the potatoes with the eggs and you do what we just did, flipping it over, but you won't put anything in the middle. This is a variation to make it a little bit more, even tastier. And that's it. If you want to stick to your original, onions, tomatoes, eggs, and you flip it over.
Okay. Let me see here. Can I make you, how do I do this? Remove spotlight. Okay, so I'm going to show everybody on my screen. Okay, is there anybody that wants to show off their finished dish?
We get about 20 more seconds on the cooking time before we're
Oh, yeah. Anita has hers done. Beth has hers done. Nice. Next time I'm going to use a smaller pan so I can flip it easier. Lori, looks good.
Look at that.
Great. I would love to see your photos of your finished dishes, and you can send them to our email address, when we follow up with the full recipe and stuff like that. We would love to see that. You could also post it on our Facebook page. Yeah, any way you want to share it with us, that'd be great. If Tia, you want to send the info email that they could send it to in the chat.
Here comes.
Awesome.
Taylor just showed up. Okay, hold on. Here we go. This is.
Oh, look at that. Looks great. Looks great.
All right, so I'm putting
the
email address in the chat. Hold on.
Okay. I'm going to take a little picture of all of us, even though it's not really good, but there we go. And there's Aldo's. Great. So yeah, because on the recording, it only when you're speaking does it show your screen. So awesome. I love it, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for our cooking class. Hopefully you had some fun, even if you made a little mistakes like I did. I still have to finish mine off and flip it over onto a plate. We're done. And yeah, this was great. I hope you tune in to the next class next Saturday, and we'll be in touch with you with like I said, the full recipe. We might have like a itinerary or some travel tips we might share with you. I haven't quite figured out what that's going to be yet, but anyways, I so appreciate everybody, and I thank you so much, Aldo, for your time today and sharing with us this Spanish tortilla omelet. And yeah,
Can you remind us all what
Yeah.
the menu or what the recipe is for next week for France?
So next week is the coq au vin. It's Julia Child's version, chicken with wine. It's a little bit longer of a presentation than maybe today, because the cooking process is a little bit longer. Isn't that right, Aldo?
Yeah, it is a long cooking process, even longer than the one that you were going to do, because it's a recipe that if you stick to the original one, it takes a long time. But there are ways to still be very close to the original recipe and stick to the original one by making a little bit of shortcuts. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But it's a nice,
Awesome. Well, I look forward.
winter dish and a really a classic.
Great. Well, I look forward to it, and it's good. It's always good to see you. We will see you again next week, and whoever else wants to join us. So again, thank you, everybody, and
yes,
adios. I don't know. Goodbye in Spanish. I'm like
if you've signed up
having a mind blank.
cooking classes, then yes, you will receive an invite to the next cooking class as well. Is that correct, Monica?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So awesome. Well, you'll be hearing from us very soon with some final travel tips, maybe an itinerary, and then, of course, the full recipe. So thank you, everybody. It was great to get to know everybody and see everybody. Have a great afternoon or evening or whatever time it is in your your location. Bye-bye.
Bye.